if I rev it, there's just blue smoke coming out. So I bought another turbo. This one's actually new though, it's $500 and hopefully that won't leak oil. This is the new snail that I bought, and I hate that I have to ruin the warranty the second that I get it, because I was hoping I could adapt into this banjo bolt oil inlet, and after much research, this banjo bolt seems to be a custom thread, so I have to tap this out to quarter MPT. I really hope this turbo works. I think it will. I don't think it'll leak, but I hate that, man. We don't talk about my block off. I don't have any plugs. I've got great news on the inlet hole. For some reason, this is a quarter MPT. Just did it. Now it's fighting. But this dives in there, no problem. But this banjo bolt does not go into the quarter tap. Oh, well, it does. It's just not. Look at this. There's no angle of the dangle. There's no taper on those threads. Not sure what's going on. The new turbo is in. Hopefully it doesn't leak oil. I've got a proper orifice there, which is 1/16. And then I can clamp down that little fitting down there. The RTV just has to set. And something that I haven't done yet is I can run coolant through the ports here, through my heater core routing, but that's probably something I do later. But really what I need to find out is, does the car smoke? Here's something interesting I found. There's a lot of pressure coming out of the oil. Where is it? You can't see it. Oh, it's right there. So that's the oil feed return bung, and there's a lot of pressure. There's more oil coming out of that bung than there is out of the drain. I think that the oil's just not moving, but it's coming out of the top of the head. This cup was filled from the bung, and this was filled from the drain on the turbo, and they're like half the diameter. The yellow one's half the diameter. I don't know. That's very odd. I don't think I moved the bung from where it was, so I don't know how it was functioning before. Now we're getting scientific. I've got an actual line for the bung and something for the oil feed. There it is. And apparently maybe I can open up the oil cap here on the valve cover. I don't know what that would do. A little loose now, and see what happens. I think if anything, this was off the oil pan, this was off the turbo. They're about even. They should not be even. There should be more pressure out of the turbo. Interesting. I hope it's not rings. feel like I've been here before with a different car. Here I am again, setting up a leak down. See what happens. I have a feeling that it's a ring problem because there should not be pressure coming out of the pan like that. So I hope not, but I don't know what else would make sense. Not really sure what's going on here. I'm just showing, but I've got the engine at top dead center, and that's pretty good compression. I mean, I wouldn't argue with that, and it's consistent with all 4 cylinders. The only thing is when the piston falls to the bottom dead center, all the air comes out. So not really sure what that is. What's weird is when all the air comes out of bottom center, it doesn't come out the crankcase, it comes out the next piston over or something like that. Very weird. Don't really know what's going on. So check this out. I think I'm onto something. Okay, now when I pressurize the cylinder and I go just to here, at the bottom it opens slightly, the intake, but if I depressurize and move the cam slightly back so the intake doesn't get activated, so like now I'm at bottom dead center minus a little bit. Put it in gear. Now if I do a leak down, okay, so like that's actually bad. And I can feel that there's air coming out of hole 2, which is interesting. Okay, I think there's an answer that makes sense. So at slightly bottom dead center, these holes are great. At slightly bottom dead center, these have terrible leak down. So I've got a new strategy. Being that you typically measure compression leak down at top dead center, and that's good. I'm going to consider it good. And so I'm going to put the valve cover back on and get rid of my PCV, and then run my... So my PCV goes to, where is it? Goes to a little catch can back in there, and you can see the filter right in here. I'm gonna run this filter into this bung here and create vacuum, so it's sucking air out of the engine, and maybe we'll be able to create some vacuum in the crankcase, therefore reducing pressure that's coming out of the oil pan bung. I'm gonna see if that works. Well, there's been a lot of time since I've been dealing with this blow-by issue. So I got the catch can mounted with a vacuum pump, and I put this together on a little YouTube short. And that seems to have significantly helped. So then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm increasing the oil drain size from whatever, AN6 to AN12, maybe, whatever this is. This is 5/8, so maybe it's AN10. Really getting in the weeds here. So in order to increase the line size, I got to drop the pan. So I'm going to drain the oil. I'll keep it in a nice spot so I can reuse it, and hopefully I don't regret that. And then I'm going to weld on a new bung, 5/8 AN. And then while I'm in there, I'm going to weld in some pan baffles, because that's just a straight chamber. There's no protection from any sloshing. All right, I got the oil pan off. I'm going to cut off this bung and drill the new one. I bought some baffles for a Chevy, and I'm taking them all apart because I just wanted to see what it was like, and I'm getting some inspiration, so I've drilled out the rivets. And the thing about this car is the pickup's like right on the surface of the pan. So I'm gonna cut out this bottom area. It's just gonna be a door. I was looking up how Moroso builds their pans, and they recommend only opening a third. So I'm gonna put in a block. Because look under here. I mean, the harmonic balancer takes up most of the oil space, so I only have to worry about it going forward, backwards, and to this side. I mean, this side it's already covered with a tube. I mean, there's not really much I can do to block that off. First, I'm welding on those blocks so the doors only open up like maybe a third. They're just little tabs of metal that I welded and cut so that it worked. Then I was test fitting the doors, and I just figured I'd weld them in there and see if it fit. I'd kind of lined it up by eyeballing where I maybe should put them, but I really didn't have a good idea. It's a lot tougher to do on the car while the engine's in the car, so I just tacked them in there and set them to go. This is what I've come up with as far as the baffle and trap doors. This is where the pickup tube goes. It's like right on the bottom. And so I was hoping to get more trap doors, but it's just gonna end up being baffles. There's gaps under there. I'm just guessing. That's all. So cool. Got the oil return bung for the turbo welded in, and I put like a little block on the other side because there was so much pressure coming out of it that maybe that'll help. That's it. The oil pan's on. I spun the engine around so there's no interference. Oh yeah. Now I gotta mount the turbo train. So I've got this piece that I'm gonna RTV on and screw on the underside. Then I'm gonna make a hose. So the oil line is on. It's ginormous. I had to bore out the holes on this bracket just to get it to move over so I could put on the rubber coupling there. And then if you look down there, it's connected. So yeah, I hope it works. Gonna put some oil in it. Okay, we're gonna start up the car and maybe it'll go for a drive. Smoking. The gauge is right there. Don't even need the fan right now.